Good afternoon, students. In the previous video, beta, we have studied about the different methods of separation and why we need of doing this separation. What is the need of separation of substances? Yes, beta. Can you tell me why the separation of substances in the mixture is necessary? Yes. It is necessary to obtain useful component from the mixture. If there is any useful component in the mixture, then it is a need to separate that useful component. Okay, and what is the other need? To remove impurities or unwanted material from the mixture. For example, if your mother has to cook the rice, first what your mother does? Your mother will remove impurities or unwanted particle from the rice, from the mixture. Then only she will prepare it, cook for you. Okay, beta. So what methods we have earlier studied? In the previous video we have studied about hand picking method, sieving, winnowing, threshing. And now we will study about the sedimentation. Yes, beta, sometimes you have seen before cooking what your mother does. If your mother have to cook the rice, pulses, then before cooking, your mother washed them with the water. Why? Can you tell me? Yes, the wash water is removed by the when you wash the pulses, rice, then what will happen? The dirt material, the dirt which is present in the rice and pulses, that will settle down at the bottom, and then we will remove the water, decant water, and separate the dirt particle. In this way, we can remove the dirt particle from the rice and pulses. Yes, beta. So, what do you mean by sedimentation? The process of separating insoluble solid component. We have removed the dirt particle. Dirt particle are solid component that settle down at the bottom because they are heavy particle. You know very well, heavy particles settle down, lighter particle float on the water. So the process of separating insoluble solid component present in a liquid by allowing them to settle down at the bottom of the container is called sedimentation. The process of separating insoluble solid component. It means this method is used when we have to separate the insoluble solid impurities in a liquid. How we can separate? By allowing them to settle down at the bottom. As you are able to see in this diagram, first we have taken a beaker, then we have filled it with water, then we have put it in it some sand particle. Then we have seen, after keeping it undisturbed, keep it undisturbed for some time, what will happen? These sand particles will settle down at the bottom, and the particles which settle down at the bottom, they are known as sediment. What do you call the sand particles which get settled down at the bottom? Sediment. And the liquid that is present upside, that is known as supernatant. That is known as supernatant. So how you can define this process, sedimentation? The process of separating insoluble solid component present in a liquid by allowing them to settle down at the bottom of the container is called sedimentation. Okay, beta. Now, how we can separate these sand particle from the water now? Because you have seen sand particles settle down and water come at the top, then how now you can separate these sand particle which are present at the bottom? Now beta, what we will do? We will now separate sediment and supernatant by the process of decantation. What we do in this process? In this process, the supernatant is carefully poured into the another beaker, but we don't have to disturb the sediment. So the process of transferring the supernatant into the another beaker without disturbing the sediment is called decantation. Now, if we have to separate the sand from the water, it means two processes we have to use. First process is sedimentation and second process is decantation. The mixture of sand and water is allowed to stand undisturbed for some time. What will happen? The sand being heavier settle down at the bottom. Water is poured over into the another container. This is known as decantation. Now, next method we will study about filtration. What is the next method? Filtration. You have seen your mother early in the morning when your mother wake up, your mother make tea for herself. And what she does? After preparing tea, she filters the tea. Why she filters the tea? To remove the tea leaves from the tea. And that is why this method is known as filtration, to separate the tea leaves from the tea. And how you can define this method? The process of separating insoluble solid component present in a liquid but passing the mixture from a porous medium such as a filter paper is called filtration. As you are able to see in this diagram, what we have taken a funnel. In the funnel we have make a cone with the help of this filter paper, and then we have kept in the funnel, and we have taken a beaker also and a stand. In the stand we have fixed this funnel. Then the insoluble solid particle present in the mixture, then we have put in the cone, and the liquid passes through it, and what remain on the filter paper? Dust particles, small sand particle. But you have to keep it in mind that size of holes in the filtering device should be smaller than the size of the particle to be the filtered. Filter paper used in the school laboratory has very fine holes in it. At houses, filtration is used to separate, as I have told, tea leaves from the tea using a strainer or filter, you can say. Okay. Seeds and pulp from orange juice can also be separated by filtration. And next method is evaporation. That is very much an easy method. Evaporation, you know very well, the change of water into water vapors is called evaporation. Where we use this process? If we have to separate the salt from the sea water. Now how we can separate salt from the sea water? How? This method. Sea water contains a large amount of salt dissolved in, you know very well. Then to obtain salt, if we have to obtain the salt from the sea water, what we do? Sea water, we collect the sea water in shallow ponds called the salt pans. Salt water collected in these salt pan, and then due to heat of the sun, the water evaporates and leaving behind the salt in the salt pans. Salt is obtained from the salt pan, is sent for further purification because this salt is very much impure, and then we have to pure it. For purification we sent it to the further purification purposes. In this way we obtain salt from the sea water. Okay, and the process is known as evaporation. That's all from my side. Thank you. Have a nice day, beta.